1492nd meeting of the Darien Police Commission. First order of business is acceptance of minutes of April 3rd.
Make a motion to accept.
I will second. Did you have any questions, comments?
Nope.
Additions? All right, hearing nothing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence, Chief.
Yes, we had a couple of pieces of correspondence. The first being that a young Darien resident donated her hard-earned cash and a small donation to put towards Canine Argo. We thought that was very cute, and unfortunately, we can't decide where donations go specifically, but that was turned over to the town, and we thank her for that. Board of Selectmen member Sarah Newman came and met with us regarding an incident that happened with a family member of a fall on a bike that was potentially caused by some youths on e-bikes and e-scooters driving the wrong way on West Ave. So we met with them, and she was very appreciative of our explanations of what took place and our time, and she wrote a nice letter of thanks to us, and Captain and the traffic division were present as well. No real discussion for this next one, but we received our approval for our highway permit from State DOT to have our Memorial Day parade in a couple of weeks. Took a little bit longer than usual, but I appreciate Office Administrator LaBella's hard work. They had to kick it back because they have some new people in place and wanted some new criteria to be met in order to authorize that permit. So thank you, Rick. We received, what's this one? Out of order here. Traffic Officer Tim Budd, who's also our drone operator, was called out to Ridgefield on April 19th. The report of a missing elderly gentleman. They had several canine units, several drone units up there, and spent several hours, and ultimately there was a good outcome and a resident was located. So Chief Kreitz, who's a friend of mine, sent a letter of sincere gratitude and thanks for our use of not only our resources here, but our manpower as well. So good job to Tim Budd. And let's see, we have a letter and a donation from a Tulip Tree resident. Very kind of them to donate to our gift fund. They remain grateful for our commitment to serving and protecting, and they thanked us for our dedication and our service. I'm not exactly sure if that's tied to a specific incident or not, but we thank the residents on Tulip Tree for a sizable donation to our gift fund. Thank you very much. And then lastly, the commission received a letter from a mail carrier reporting that he's been having difficulty delivering mail on Libby Lane, also Holly Lane. He said there's a high volume of high school students' vehicles parked, and it's obstructing access to mailboxes, hindering his ability to deliver mail efficiently. So we reached out. This was kind of unusual to get a letter of this nature, so we reached out to the postmaster, and although this is accurate, we were supposed to hear from the postmaster, not necessarily the letter carrier, although I don't believe he had good intentions. So, and I think that can play a role in one of the topics we have further in the meeting tonight. So, and that is the last of correspondence.
Any questions, comments? All right. Captain, department activity?
All right, some notable incidents, time period April 3rd through May 8th, 2025. On January 23rd, 2025, patrol officers responded to a commercial establishment on the Post Road following the discovery of a hidden camera in the store's bathroom placed there the previous day. Following a thorough investigation, a suspect from Norwalk was identified. An arrest warrant was approved, and the suspect turned himself into department custody on April 2nd, where he was processed for 4 counts of voyeurism with malice. On April 13th at approximately 5:40 p.m., a patrol officer observed 2 vehicles entering the Exxon gas station located at 1358 Post Road at a high rate of speed. One of the vehicles was stolen out of New York. A Bronx, New York resident attempted to evade officers but was apprehended. The second vehicle fled the scene at a high rate of speed. The one suspect was taken into custody for possession of a stolen vehicle. The investigation is ongoing for the second vehicle. On March 28th, patrol officers responded to a report of a suspicious Apple AirTag tracking device discovered on a vehicle. The AirTag, which had been taped to the undercarriage, of the victim's vehicle was placed there without the victim's knowledge or consent. Following an investigation, a search warrant was issued and the AirTag was traced to a Stamford resident. This suspect later admitted to attaching the device to the victim's vehicle. An arrest warrant was granted by the Stamford Superior Court, and the suspect turned himself in on May 2nd, where he was processed for the charge of electronic stalking. Some notable statistics within that time period: we had 6 domestic disturbance incidents, we had 2 domestic violence incidents, 7 identity theft incidents, we had 3 motor vehicle burglaries, 2 of which were unlocked vehicles, and the other vehicles reported to be locked, but there were no signs of forced entry. We had 2 stolen motor vehicles, both reported to be unlocked, 42 motor vehicle accidents, 3 of which reported injuries. 1 was involving a pedestrian, and 14 of those accidents were on private property. A total of 274 traffic stops, 1,240 calls for service. On April 11th, Sergeant Brian Wallman completed the 2-week command training series First Line Supervisor course hosted by Roger Williams University in Bristol, Rhode Island. On April 25th, in concert with the Darien Public Schools and the Darien Police Association, the department's e-bike, e-scooter initiative kicked off at Middlesex Middle School. Officers will give out a free pizza slice coupon to youth who are following traffic laws.
Do you feel these stolen motor vehicles have been going down a bit? It's still an issue, but...
Yeah, our stats are down for sure. And I did want to comment the use of our license plate reader and our flock cameras that we have located throughout town. Just in the recent weeks, they've given us early warning that vehicles that are stolen or suspect vehicles that we have plugged into the system that we're looking for have entered town, and we believe we've thwarted additional crimes that may have been committed on several occasions. Still doesn't help us that we can't pull these cars over if they don't decide to stop for us, but that's at a level that's a little
It's
bit
not
higher
ironic
than
it's
us.
gone down after
Yeah.
using technology now.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
great.
we had a car stop that came in on Tokenique Road from Rowayton, and it was stopped before it even reached the Post Road. It only stopped briefly and then took off and engaged us in pursuit, but that's what we face every day,
Appreciate
so, yeah.
Great.
But the flock cameras have been helping us, and I know many of us, or many of you have heard me say it before, that they help us in almost essentially every investigation, I'd say. Our detective bureau uses that data, our patrol division uses that data and those real-time alerts for almost every incident that we're involved in, so it's a great tool. The only other thing I'd add to the e-bike initiative, we partnered with the Board of Education, the Police Commission, and the Selectman's Office, and we had some safety flyers, trifold brochure type handouts made up. And we were, last Friday, I think we were at the middle school handing not only the brochures out, but kids that were in compliance, wearing their helmets, following traffic laws. We were handing out coupons for free slice of pizza at Heights Pizza. And we thank the Darien Police Association for that part of the campaign. They partnered with Heights Pizza, I think got a reduced rate, and they had a whole bunch of coupons made up, and we look forward in the warmer months and warmer weeks ahead to be rewarding these kids that are in compliance, and we're hoping to keep, not only build awareness for the kids and their families and what the right way to ride these scooters and e-bikes and the behavior to follow, but also to kind of have some positive interaction with the police department as well. So.
And Officer Bud was pretty instrumental in that as well, I think.
He was, yeah.
And we see him mention his name quite a bit in a very positive way, so it sounds like he's doing a great job.
He absolutely is. That's all I have.
Excellent. All right, we come to public comment, and today we have public. Sometimes we sit here very lonely. I don't know all the topics. I don't know if you're all the same topic, but if anyone would like to speak, we would be happy to hear from you. If you could tell us your name and where you live, and hopefully limit it to 2 minutes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so we're part of the old business. I think we're all together.
Excellent.
We're residents of Holly and Libby Lane, so we're here to talk
There's
about-
enough parking for all of you out there?
Apparently. But we did pull together a letter for the department with ample signatures here that I'm happy to share with you. I don't know if Allison shared this with you guys, but We were here just given the safety concerns that the parking's presented. I know I've been here before, so I know you guys are familiar. But we are requesting the no parking sign during school hours, the same sign that Holly Lane has. It's gotten pretty bad. I don't know if you guys have been down there lately, but
Every day.
over 30 calls.
We get calls.
Over 30 cars on the street, and I think, you know, we have young kids on the street. I think first and foremost, we're just really, truly afraid that someone's going to get hurt. The kids fly down the street, they don't really obey the speed limits. I think that's, for me anyways, top of mind. I have young children, and a lot of us do. So I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in, but we're very passionate about getting the sign. Given Holly Lane has the same sign, and we're right adjacent to it, we feel like it makes a lot of sense, and it's really disruptive the neighborhood. It's gotten really out of control, so.
Excellent. Nope, hear you loud and clear. Anyone else? Or I assume you're all signatures to this and
I just
agree,
want
and
to-
agree with that.
Can you add those signs to Holly to make sure that they don't leave Libby and then start parking on Holly? I know they're not supposed to. But there is 1 or 2 signs at the beginning of Holly, but further down. I mean, these kids go speeding down. They've been collected 50 miles an hour. And I'm surprised they haven't killed somebody. And it's just remarkable.
One of the big problems, I'm Jonathan Baker, 21 Holly. And one of the big problems is they get out of school, I think at 2:18, and they're in the car like 2:25, and they're pointed towards Holly or towards Middlesex. And they get out of those cars. I mean, it's the raceway, it's the Holly Lane Raceway. And it was some time ago, one young lady was clocked at 53 miles an hour right in front of our driveway because the police officer was sitting in the driveway. And just the other day, my granddaughter told me that one of her friends was stopped, and I don't know if she got a ticket because it was in the morning, doing 45 on Holly Lane. And so we have people that walk their dogs, we have little children, we have kids that aren't always careful about how they go about their business and walking into the street or riding a bicycle. But these are 16, 17, maybe 18-year-old kids that got their driver's license. They have no experience, but they're driving a 2-ton vehicle in some cases, and they hurt when they hit you. And they have no concept of it. They come around that corner where you go into the 70 bend on Holly, 50 miles an hour. If you lose control of that car, you're going into 15 Holly. I mean, it becomes insane. And then if you ask them to slow down, they roll down the window and tell you, F yourself, and give you the finger. So there's no respect attached to anything that they do. And this has been going on, we've lived on the street for 30 years. So I only mention it because I don't think they know what they're doing at the young age of 16, high-speed driving in a residential area. Notwithstanding the fact that they come walking through our yards. I caught one of them at the gate to our house not too long ago, and I said, this was 7:10 in the morning. I'm taking the garbage out, and I said, where are you going? He said, well, I'm going to the high school. And I said, well, how do you plan to get there? He said, well, I'm going to go through the gate. And I said, well, you can't. Gate's locked in our home. Our entire backyard is fenced in. I said, well, who told you could come through here? And he said, well, my friend told me that if you go to the 21, there's a gate. But what it was you go to 31 and walked it into the property. There's a gate. So, anyway, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I want to say, because I have a dog and my neighbor does as well,
Yes.
and I feel very unsafe walking because with cars on both sides, it's very narrow. And as John said, they come around the bend, and if you're kind of out with the dog, I mean, I've literally had to like leap onto the grass to avoid being hit. And it's not good to feel unsafe in your neighborhood.
All right.
I'll just add one thing too. I'm Katie McCurdy. I live on 25 Libby, so they're all in front of my house, and I have all the same issues. In addition, it's the disrespect that these kids are showing on our street. My husband found a Plan B box in our front yard the other day with my daughter. They're littering. They're disrespectful. They are parking in the grass and like messing up the grass on everyone's lawns, and it's been a year of everyone's very frustrated, especially me, and we're really hopeful that something can take effect immediately. I know during, like for the fireworks, the town does the temporary no parking signs on our street. So my hope is, well, hopefully this is all approved and we do get the no parking signs. I realize that can take some time to actually get those made, but my hope is, maybe not effective tomorrow, but hopefully by Monday, there can be at least temporary signs, because it just needs to end. And we all kind of were really frustrated. So hopefully there's those temporary signs that go up every 4th of July and for other events can at least go in place to solve this as soon as it can be solved.
Anyone else?
I think we just would love to understand the process and like next steps and where we are with everything. We'd love like a timeline and next steps.
Well, we'll get, it's on the agenda, so we will.
great.
The only thing I was going to add, and I'm
There.
Jennifer Brown, and I'm at 24 Libby Lane, it's also impacting the day-to-day things like garbage collection on our street. The garbage truck can't get through and couldn't pick up garbage the other day. Because the cars, as Katie said, are parking so haphazardly. Some are up on the lawn, some are feet away. It makes a really tight fit through. It's a single lane that becomes extraordinarily tight to get through at that point. So I think there's just the logistics of the day-to-day, and then obviously I think you guys have tried to put emergency vehicles down the street and they fit, but it's a tight squeeze on Libby Lane all of a sudden.
Anyone else? All right, that is close of public comment. We
Wait,
will-
I'm
We
sorry.
have actually a different issue.
Yeah, I thought it was all related.
Okay, no, go ahead.
This may not be the right venue for it, but I don't know if you are aware of the proposed Wonder Restaurant moving into Dickinson and Post. It's with planning and zoning right now. And, I'm not sure how they're going to deliberate on that, or whether or not they're going to issue the special permit. One of the concerns we had as a neighborhood is really the amount of traffic that's going to be coming into that area. Wonder is not really a restaurant, it's more of a hub and spoke model, last mile operation, where they get food kind of shipped in, prepared elsewhere, shipped in, and then you have delivery drivers from Norwalk to Stamford to New Canaan coming in, picking up, and then going out again to deliver. And with that many delivery vehicles kind of converging on that corner, I think it's just a matter of time before they get acclimated with the area and start driving around on Clock, on Garden City, on Dickinson, etc., in terms of circling around, waiting for the orders to become available. So I don't know if you guys have that on your radar in terms of something that could be an issue, but that's certainly something that really concerns us when you have all those vehicles coming in and just, these are narrow, not well-lit streets.
Yeah, the safety of it all is definitely an issue, especially with all the stolen cars that we have, and just having unknown people to our neighborhood coming in and out. Again, similar to Libby Lane, it's a very narrow street, so when you do have cars parked, and we have the firehouse right across from there. So, the main thing that we're worried about is the safety and somebody getting hit, dogs walking all the time, and their peak hours are 5 to 7. When we're all out walking our dogs and walking around and going back and forth, to school or town hall or whatever.
Yeah.
So we want it on your radar. Again, we're not sure if this is the appropriate venue to kind of bring it up, but it's with planning and zoning, and we just wanted as many voices as possible because we just found out about it about a week ago, and we're trying to pull out all the stops and make everybody aware that we're very concerned for safety in our neighborhood. And the other thing is it's zoned, one of 2 neighborhoods in Darien that's zoned to where any business that moves in has to service the neighborhood. So that's the waiver that they're going for, is that because this is not servicing our particular neighborhood, that's the waiver that they're kind of going for. So we're just getting the voice out and just trying to make everybody aware of our concerns.
That's
for
a
the
new
safety
building,
issue.
right?
It's
That's what we're talking
where
about.
Moods is going to go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going in there now?
So it's this company called Wonder.
Wonder.
And
okay.
it's they cook all the food in New Jersey and then they kind of bring it up. And we think that there's so many other, it's a great business model and it's good, and I think a lot of people in the city are familiar with it, but not for our neighborhood. There's so many other places in Darien where this can go that would make so much more sense versus having and plopping it in there, and then once it's gonna scale up, it's gonna 15 cars now, they can't support their business model with 15 cars, so it's gonna increase. And there's no doubt they're gonna cut down Clock, and then right on to Dickinson, because the only entrance to get into this restaurant is on Dickinson,
Yeah.
across from the firehouse and everything.
I
So
thought
it
you
could
could
be,
go in on the post road and out.
and then the company also owns Grubhub, but that's like, they think it's gonna be 70% of their drivers are gonna be Grubhub, and they'll be able to like monitor them. Also, Route 1 is gonna back up tremendously. I walked my dog at like 5:30 the other day, it's insane. So they're gonna stop at Dickinson, hold up all that traffic to make a left off of Route 1 onto Dickinson, and then supposedly get into that small parking lot, where they're gonna miss it, shoot off into the Norotan Fire Department, or then, or my neighbor's driveway, which is right behind there. So again, not sure it's the right venue, it is with planning and zoning, they're having a meeting on the 15th to make kind of a
Hasn't come
decision.
yet, has it?
All of comments are closed.
Specific traffic stuff.
Oh, yeah, the 13th. So we're trying to get ahead of the curve, and once this goes in, we can't stop it, and then the neighborhood's just gonna blow up with cars. It's bad enough with our teenagers driving around, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not mine, mine are very few drivers.
Yeah, no. Look, I have one, I get it, I know how many times I have to like scream at people, slow down. So, anyway.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you coming. It has not landed on our desk yet, but that doesn't mean.
It probably won't, but it will if this gets approved and we start complaining about all these drivers and unknown people driving our hood, so.
yeah.
I could actually comment on that. Tyler Grant, 9 Elkins Highway, South Darien. I'm with the B20 group. We are the owners of the building. We're actually here on a different matter, but I could speak to your concerns. if you
Oh,
want me.
good, so glad you're hearing us loud and clear, because you guys gotta find a different location or wonder.
It's through planning and zoning right now, there's no approvals right now. If it does get approved, it'll probably get approved with conditions, for example, like turning onto your street, like they can control the Grubhub app and see if drivers are going down this.
I have to gracefully disagree with you. There's no way that you're gonna be able to control it, and, we're, just so you know, we're pulling out all the stops. We're gonna have signs, we're contacting Wonder directly, we're putting flyers out, so you're gonna have a lot of issues with our neighborhood and.
So P&Z will consult us at the
Yeah.
appropriate time, and we'll weigh in on it.
Cool,
Yep.
great, thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Sorry, we went over 2 minutes.
No,
That's okay. Happy to hear from, as I said, many times we are here very lonely, so we're
Aw.
very happy to hear from you. Okay, building issues update, and then we will get to the meat of the agenda.
Yeah, one of the compressor units controls the climate control in the admin wing completely seized up. So we were experiencing some high temperatures the other week. Thankfully, there is a backup compressor that we're using right now in the meantime. However, it is working at full capacity, so we don't want that one to burn out. So we're looking at a full replacement of the down compressor. We expect it to be pretty costly because it may require a crane to take the old one off the roof and put the new one back up there. So we're working with Carrier right now and getting a quote. And that's going to be something we're going to have to do right away.
There's no potential damage to equipment or anything in the meantime where we need to rent a system effectively for cooling?
No, we're good right now.
Okay.
The backup system is working quite well. We just don't want it to rely on it too much longer because it is full capacity right now.
Bring in a baby pool to cool people off. That it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now we will get to traffic issues. We have, no, old business. I skipped over old business. I'm sorry, no parking on Libby Lane.
Don't forget it.
I thought it was under traffic issues. Which it would be, but it's under old business. Okay, so we have the letters, we've heard from people before. I don't think there's any reason why we would have, I know Ally's not here, but have an issue with putting up the no parking during school hours signs similar to Holly Lane. Can I just add, maybe the Holly Lane people know, because I know Ally's not here. No parking during school hours, does it actually post or it just says school
It's
hours?
8 to 4.
It
It
just
does
says
say 8 to 4. Okay,
Yeah.
because here,
But it's only one sign.
There's only one at the top,
At
yeah.
the
on
top.
Holly Lane.
On Holly, so,
Yeah, well, my suggestion was
It's quite
going to be
faded,
that we approve signs in the area
correct.
and turn it over to Ally and DPW to go out and ideally locate, maybe peruse the neighborhood on a nice 7:25 on a Tuesday,
I
see
can tell you where.
see where it is. Well, there are also rules and regulations about where signage goes, so it's not just a matter of sticking it up. But I would recommend that we
Yeah.
approve.
Yeah, I don't think we had much of a conversation on it. We were ready to go on this a while ago,
Yeah.
we're just waiting for you to come back. Sometimes some neighbors want things and others don't, so you get the signatures is very helpful to us. I think it's a no-brainer, we've all been down there, we looked at the signs. I do like the idea of temporary signs, if that's something that we can do, we'll try to accommodate you in doing that as well. And what we don't want to do, to your point, is we don't want to put signs on just, Libby, and then shift the issue over, further down the road, so I think we're happy to accommodate that as well. The only thing I would ask, I don't know, Chief, you're going to talk to the captain or not, but I would ask that maybe we can notify the school in advance if they're willing to send an email to the juniors or whomever, just so that on day one, they're going to be there. It's going to be a surprise to them that there's no parking. And I don't want to go ticketing 20 students, right? I don't think that's what we want to do on day one when they know it's not aware. If they can send an email out in advance, maybe a day or two in advance before the signs, just saying, hey, there's no longer parking in this area, I think that would be helpful.
Social media.
That's what I was going to suggest, even if you did it through your resource officer. I believe his name is Bryce Brown, nice young fellow.
Yeah.
But somebody make an announcement over the DA system saying, that there's no longer satellite parking available on Libby or Holly. It'd be very helpful.
Now that we publicize number 31, we have to put a sign up there too.
No crossing.
I just have a couple of comments, and I agree with you. I'm 52 years old, and I've been here the whole time. I know all about the problems around the high school. I didn't go to the high school. In 30 years as a police officer here, I know that every year we get the same complaints, and sometimes, most of the time, the school has been on board with assisting us. This is the first, in my recollection, the school wants no involvement in this. And not only do they not want no involvement.
It's amazing. I called up and they said, we don't have any authority to do anything off campus.
Well, I know for a fact, since we've had the SRO program at the high school, the SRO has worked with the administrations in the past, and they've made it clear to the juniors or those who don't have parking permits that they shouldn't be parking there. I think that's helped offset it a little bit on year to year. But not only are they not cooperating this year, but I'm hearing, and have not been able to confirm it, but they oversold parking passes for the high school.
I heard that as
So
well.
now, when kids who have legitimate passes show up to school, including seniors, and they can't find parking spaces, the last minute they know that, check the nearby roads. So, one other thing, and I think we've expressed to some of your neighbors, maybe not all of you, are that one of the reasons we wanted to get the survey signed is we don't want y'all back here in a month's time saying, I don't want the sign. Oh, I didn't want the sign in front of my house. Anybody else's house is okay, but not in front of my house.
It's a two in front of me.
I'll take one.
Because we've had that happen, right? We've gone out, we've worked with residents of other streets before, and then all of a sudden they find a no parking here to corner sign in front of their yard and they want it moved. So hopefully we're clear, at least with the people in the room on that.
Yeah.
And then lastly, obviously, we're going to be kicking the problem down the road somewhere else. Hopefully not. And hopefully they'll see that, the conditions that the kids have caused and the problems that they've caused for the nearby neighborhoods have got it to a level where they're going to have to face this problem wherever they go. So we will work as rapidly as we can. I'll have to check on temporary parking signs. I'm not sure that we can do that for a certain length of time. I know that sounds like a great idea, but I know what's going to happen with the temporary signs. They're going to be gone after the first day, and they're going to be in the back of someone's SUV. And then that plays into a role, can we enforce it if the sign was there without someone seeing that the sign was removed? And so it can present other problems, but we'll look further into that. And in the meantime, Captain Hindema just couldn't be here tonight. I know some of you have been working with her. She's done this a bunch of times where she'll coordinate with Public Works, they'll do some site visits, they'll kind of pick out some locations. I know cost is an issue depending on how many signs we want to have made up, but we'll see what we can do and we'll move as quick as we can.
Yeah, we'll try to do as least as possible so it preserves the community and, gets the point across. And I do thank the chief because I know he tried to reach out to the school in advance to get this done without signage and working with him, so appreciate you doing that.
I just have a question. If the temporary signs, if that's not feasible, is it possible to at least say, like, to communicate with the school tomorrow to say this is going into effect, but like the signs are coming, but it's in effect immediately? And I mean, obviously not everyone's gonna abide by that, but at least like get the messaging out to the,
We can get the
Yeah.
messaging out, but we wouldn't be able to enforce it without the
Okay.
signs in place.
I do think, just FYI, for the rest of this, I think the seniors only have one more week, and then the
Right.
juniors are gonna
Yeah,
park there
yeah,
anyway.
I know,
Park
but-
there.
It's not, I think. Don't
You're
quote, I
right,
think
it's
that's-
just,
yeah.
There's
we're all very
sophomores, there's
anxious.
sophomores parking there too.
Well, that's the other thing, yeah, now the sophomores park there too.
There's a whole new row of cars now that we're like, oh, you must have just gotten your license.
Mhm.
You're new, we don't know you yet.
That's right.
Well, I did go to Darien High School, and I just, for the record, say I did not park on Libby Lane.
I did too, and I never parked there either.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah,
course.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thanks for working with me. I've been working with Allison. She's been amazing. I'm really grateful. It's gonna be really helpful to the neighborhoods. We really appreciate it.
Um, And we will move on to the agenda. Don't feel any obligation to stay if your agenda item is over. Not that we're not happy to have you and have a thrilling meeting ahead, but
Have a good one.
Take care, nice to meet you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
okay, now we are on traffic issues. Yeah, nice to right over old business. Heights Road signage.
Yes. So I am Jason Montagno from Solely Engineering, and I'm along with the owner's representative here to talk about the Roden Heights Shopping Center. The project, and I can just pull up the PowerPoint just to kind of give everyone their bearings a little bit so they can become a little more familiarized with the site, and then I could easily explain this.
I think it's loading right now.
I think it's thinking right now. Something. There we go.
Give them the lights a little bit, or what do you think?
As long as everyone can see, it doesn't matter to me.
You could try just a little bit.
By the way, when are you guys done with the project, generally speaking?
Couple months.
Couple months?
Yeah, probably July timeframe.
Great, congrats.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so as obviously it's under construction, almost completed. Just to give you an overview, this is Hollow Tree Ridge Road on the west, Heights Road on the south, and we have West Avenue to the north. It's a multi-use construction project with residential and commercial. And as part of the condition, the resolution, we need to consult with Darien's legal traffic authority to determine two types of signs that are located along Heights Road. To kind of zoom in, the areas in red, if you could see them, there's another closer blow up that I have of the area, but there's some parallel parking spaces. There's 12 that were approved along Heights Road, and we wanted to come forward and ask if we could have the 1 hour parking for parallel for those 12 spaces along Heights Road.
That's going towards Hollow Tree or going towards the road?
So yeah, to the left would be Hollow Tree, and
So-
then
This is where the 1 hour parallel?
exactly, yeah. So we have 2 spaces on the left box in red, and then there's 5 spaces in front of the 2 buildings where there's the
Oh, okay.
Fountain
So
Plaza
it's split, yep.
over there. So I think if I zoom in a little closer, that might kind of give the better orientation of at least 5 of the spaces.
Yes, got it, totally.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as on the left side, I kind of have an example of the 1 hour parking parallel signage. There'd be 2 signs located in front of these 5 spaces, and then on towards the right of the page, there's also a loading space. So we are, looking for approval for a loading zone for commercial vehicles only from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And that area would be would just be hashed out. We wouldn't have the loading space text spray painted on the ground. And then as I move,
Not that I have an opinion, but why only 1 hour?
per the owner's request, if you want to chime in.
For,
Are you gonna have shopping there?
Planning.
You're gonna have shopping at the bottom, right?
yeah, we actually came out with a list of retailers last week. We got a exciting lineup, like
Garden catering.
Yeah, garden catering.
I know those guys.
Fitness center called P-Volve, Chipotle, and then where it says Building 1B over there, that retail is still out for signature. We're looking for a tenant. So we thought the loading zone was helpful for the retailers to have a design space to, whether they're unloading food, equipment, whatever it is. And for the 1 hour parallels, we don't want people parking there for like a long period of time. Like for example, garden catering, you go pick up your food, leave. So it's like we wanted 30 minutes to an hour for vehicles to park there.
Okay.
And then I'll just, I'll scan, we're now moving east along Heights Road. So those were just some general pictures of construction. Sorry, where the buildings were in the middle, where the kind of parallel parking spaces are already kind of formed out with the curbing. But as we go to the east now, these are the last 5 spaces. The Wells Fargo Bank is located at the southwest portion of the page, so there's an additional 5 parallel parking spaces here as well. So we would include the same signage down here.
1 hour parking.
Correct.
Just keep it uniform.
Do we know what the signs are that are across the street from Vivalas?
Yeah. The 2 hour.
Those are 2
Those
hour.
are 2 hour.
Why would anyone park there for 2 hours? There's nothing there. Bacon, egg, and cheese, taking a
Will the
while.
spots be marked off or marked out?
They'll have, yeah, they'll have the spray painted
They'll have some
delineations.
markings? Yeah.
Exactly.
So
The
it's
ones
not
at
just an
Vivalas.
open space.
Right, it shouldn't just be an open space. You'll have that cross hatching as well
Yeah.
shown on the plans, just so that no one's
Okay.
trying to squeeze their vehicles in there as
The
well.
last one, yeah.
But we have had, just to comment along the lines of the commercial loading only section. The other development, we've had plenty of calls of trucks blocking the roadway in the area of like where Vivalas is, Seymour's, Gregory's. The trucks just park in the road just because it's easier to manage rather than pull in.
I've
So.
seen that for, like, right in front of Malto sometimes, they
Yeah.
just park the truck right there.
Well, I'm talking about even on Heights Road.
Oh, on Heights Road.
Yeah, that's when we get the complaints, not so much in the development, but, so I'm thinking maybe having a designed and
Designated spot. there,
designated spot
yeah.
just for that, it's gonna prevent any blockage of westbound traffic on Heights Road.
I have no, I mean, assuming, we're not the approval of spaces and all of that, we're really just the signage. I assume this has all gone through planning and zoning. and it's
Yes,
all
yeah,
been
it's
all been
marked out,
approved.
so we're really just the signage people.
Mhm.
Not that that's not important, but, I don't have any.
This is 2 hours on here.
Oh, that was the old one that Allison had, sorry.
Kidding with you.
So those are the only 2 signs, because I'm seeing other diagonal, this way, that way, the other way, that's not,
Those are all internal to the site.
okay. Just making sure I know what we're,
So numbers wise, how many signs are we looking along these parking spots and loading spaces?
There should be 1 loading space sign in front of those 2 buildings, and then, so in this area, we have 3. So there's 1 sign to the right next to the crosshatching, 1 sign in the middle, that'll be adjacent to a planter bed, and then 1 sign on the left
is
near
it the
the
green
other
dots on
cross.
these sheets?
Oh, yeah, those ones you have, yep.
Here.
Yes, yeah.
So there's 3.
Oh, I got you.
The green dots would be
Five.
would be the number of signs. Yes.
There should be about 7 1-hour parking signs.
Well, on this side, it doesn't have that. Oh, yeah, there we go. And not that I have a strong feeling about how many signs, but is that your guys' judgment call? Is there a, is there a,
Certain amount of feet in between.
yeah, I was just
sign,
trying,
yeah.
is there a regulation, or is it kind of by feel and what makes sense?
I'm sure there's a MUTCD
Right.
criteria that
Something.
needs to be met for that. I just don't know it offhand. It was like what I was gonna tell the Libby Lane residents, just because they don't have a sign in front of their house doesn't mean a car can park there. If
Right.
a reasonable person can, assume that there's no parking on the street, then just because there's no sign right where I left my car, it doesn't work, so. I think our concern is too much signage, and any kind of, we want to remain consistent as long as it's within the standard on Heights Road, but I don't have any issue with it. Captain Hedema didn't express any issue other than try and make the appearance of the signs look as similar as to what's already in the area. I know you have a whole new development, but I'm sure there's other signs, I just can't envision them right now.
Right.
And not over signage. I mean, usually we're the sign people, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that you don't want any more signs than you have
Does
to have.
Does
get
the
the job done.
Architectural Review Board have to weigh in on the types of signs? No?
I don't think so.
I think that would just be more of the building signage.
Gotcha.
I mean, these are pretty basic,
Yeah, it's,
Yep.
so,
they're not the prettiest, but, you know, it's necessary.
And they're consistent with what's on the road already.
I'm sure, I mean, they're fairly generic. I don't have any issue with, I mean, we need to communicate, and signs are the way to communicate. I would just say, even though we're the sign people, the fewer the better.
Sure.
Just to get the job
Yeah, I
done.
agree.
Yeah, we could look at the coding to see if we can kind of even remove some signs as needed, so just in case. Just so we don't have a plethora of all these, you know, signs all in front
Well,
of the
and I
building.
always say, you can add signs, but what you're probably not likely
Yeah.
to do is take signs down. I mean, so, I don't know.
Okay.
See what you can get away with, and see if it works, and if
Yep.
it doesn't, then you put up another one.
Sure.
Costs less too.
And another question too, not regarding signs, but I think you guys requested copies of keys for all the retailers and apartments.
Mhm.
Who should I coordinate that with?
Is that Lieutenant Moore?
Yeah.
One of our patrol lieutenants, I think he was, during the overnight is where we have the biggest problem because of the least amount of people are around. But when we have an ambulance call or some type of an emergency and we can't get into public spaces to just access the individual residences, it's been a
Yeah.
problem, so.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you, we'll figure out who's been looking into that. It's either Lieutenant White or Lieutenant Moore.
Yeah, I would probably include both of them.
Yeah,
I can speak to them afterwards.
Okay.
yeah, either way.
Do we need a motion to approve these signs?
If you're comfortable with enough discussion, and like I said, Captain Hidema did not have any reservations other than keeping the signs as consistent as possible, and like you mentioned, the over signage.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the two signs as presented, the parallel parking and the commercial vehicle only, to be consistent with current signage and to minimize where possible.
Second.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
New business.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
Officer McDonald and Officer Head are off probation with the commission's approval as of April 12th. It's amazing to me that they've already finished their probation, although Officer Head did come from another agency, so that makes a little bit more sense. I would make a recommendation to the commission to approve their completion of their probationary period as police officer here in Darien and assume the role of a fully sworn Darien police officer.
I will make a motion that Officer McDonald and Officer Head effectively come off probation as of April 12th, and congratulations to them both.
Congrats to both. Second.
Anything else? All those in favor?
I'd also recommend to the commission to approve that Lieutenant Scombro and Sergeant Martin move to step 2 in their respective ranks, effective May 5th, which is this past Monday. They've been in their roles for a year again, which is amazing. They're doing great jobs.
I make a motion that Lieutenant Scombros and Sergeant Martin move to step 2 in their respective ranks.
Second.
Effective May 5th. All those in favor?
Aye.
It is a special meeting. We have reached the end of our agenda. We can add nothing, except we will pick another meeting date. We are here on the 8th.
It looks like the next regular would be next week.
So we're going to not do that.
Is that right, Rick?
15th would be a regular meeting. The week of the 26th is Memorial Day week.
Can we say the 29th? Is that okay?
Yep.
3
Works for
weeks
me.
out? Rick, why don't we say the 29th, if you could send us a text or an email just confirming that Kevin is available on the 29th?
Okay.
That would be good. I think I'm here on the 5th as well, which is the regular meeting. Okay, with that, we stand adjourned. We are going to an executive session. We will take no votes and conduct no business after that, so we're done.